Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. All right, you guys come rushing in the door, or Kieran walks slowly because now she's annoyed. You guys come rushing in the door to House Tarasco, who finds the room is now mostly empty. It's literally just Reich and Stalbor sitting there. You guys sitting on top of your own beds, you lying down, you cuddling. What's going on?
Wait, did Kieran tell me that he's okay? Okay, just making sure.
Do you want to have an RP moment, please?
Okay.
No, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, she said that she got a message saying that Stalbor is okay.
Well, you would have heard me say like, "We'll be right over," or whatever.
I'm lying in my
And then
I'm lying
I'll
in my
turn
bed.
to Luca and be like, "I got a message from Reich. He says Stalber's alive."
We should get there at once, and then yeah, we'd get there and rush to the room.
I swear to all of the gods, Luca, if he's lying to me to keep me from killing some people, I will hurt him.
He would not. No, he wouldn't. Kieran, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that with Stalbor. He wouldn't.
This dog is being
Not after Odette. He wouldn't do that.
She'll shake her head and keep walking.
She doesn't even know who that is.
When you arrive, Reich's on his side. He's laughing and talking to Stalbor. Even if Stalbor is quiet, trying to heal. He's just talking to Stalbor.
Stalbor's like he's actually got his spell book back out, and he's just sort of he's just doing something in it, and he's like nodding. He's like,
All right, cool. So, you guys walk in. That's exactly what you see. Him.
I'll rush over to Stalbor and kind of give him like a once over, like up and down, and
that area in his chest that had the hole in it. There's currently like a goopy paste filling the cavity. Excuse me.
I'm not dead.
What happened? All of us looked at your body. You had no pulse.
None of you
Did the healing potion work?
None of you are trained medical professionals.
Everyone said you were dead.
Everyone said, literally, they told us you were dead.
Healing magic didn't work.
Yeah.
Kieran, you know more than most people that usually everyone is wrong. People are
really
terrible
so
and
dense?
useless.
You're just lucky I'm happy you're alive.
Like,
I'm really mad at you.
as this
Is
rush
that
of
to me or him?
That's to you, yeah.
as this rush of emotions kind of comes over, where it's like, you know, when you're coming off of adrenaline and you get kind of tired a little bit, and it's like everything's okay at this moment. So like Luca just lets himself take a deep breath. He like reaches over his shoulder and realizes he's still bleeding. He didn't do anything about this. It's not a good wound.
Are you okay,
He'll just sit down. The person that attacked you seemed to have also attacked me with some a shot of an arrow. It did
You're
quite
fine.
the damage.
You're fine.
It angers me that the bastard got away.
He didn't get away.
He didn't get away.
Not?
He did not get
No.
away.
I'll take the mask and I'll throw it at Reich's feet.
Serves him right.
So,
Sorry,
have his shit.
Stalbor.
Don't be sorry. It's just unfortunate that Denton got rolled up in whatever mess I got rolled up in.
Yeah, Stalbor, who from the Silver Flame would have tried to kill both you and I, and possibly Reich and Denton?
Can somebody explain what the Silver Flame is, real quick?
A religion.
Yeah, they're a religion.
They're misguided fools who believe that some sort of talking silver fire dictates their morality.
They're against evil creatures in all forms.
Undead, mostly.
Can I make a history check real quick, Scott?
sorry. Yes, you can. Most certainly can.
You're not the one dying.
Yeah, I literally, I'm eating chips or whatever, and I inhaled a little piece. I'm like, sorry.
He kind of like looks to Luca, and he's like, you know, I actually have heard that name before. Odette mentioned it once.
Odette mentioned the Silver Flame? She was a worshipper?
Well, why else
Actually,
would you mention
Stalbor,
it?
you had her spell book. She used her spell book as like a journal too, so you would have known like all like the like college.
That's why I want to do a roll on it, because I mean he's wicked
Yeah,
smart.
Luca
so it's like,
also
it made sense to get
studied
the
from
page.
her spell book.
He's like slowly piecing together the actual thing that's happening. He just sort of says that out loud, and then he would actually go and get Odette's spellbook out and start reading it, just like flicking through it really quickly.
So cool thing about Odette's spellbook is that like half of it is through like illusionary whatever script and stuff like that too, which you would have figured out eventually. The spell was in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So there is a like you said, it is half of it's like the illusionary script or whatever, which he would have figured out because he was the one that helped Luca to figure it out to cast spells out of it. But what specifically are you trying to find inside the spell book there?
I'm just sort of reading it to check that where I like vaguely remember that she mentioned the silver flame is in there, and I assume I do.
Oh yeah. She does mention it inside there. She herself was a worshiper of the silver flame.
Exactly, and then that starts piecing together, and then he kind of like closes the book and puts it down, and it's like, I need a drink.
Do you say that out loud, or not the drink
I
part?
say that out loud?
No, not the drink part. The silver flame part.
Not any more than I've already said.
Okay, cool, gotcha. So you guys all get that. Sorry, I'm just like dying.
So, Odette was a worshiper of the silver flame, and when we returned to Sharn, they've attacked us. These obviously have to be related, but we were friends of Odette. I went and visited with her family. They were very respectful. They understood.
Some people don't respect my friendship, Luca. Your house doesn't respect my friendship of you.
And they respected enough to let you study at Reckenbark with me.
They didn't let me study, they let me in. They tolerated my presence, as humans oft do. Just ask Reich.
I feel like you did well there. I feel like you did quite well.
I'm just saying.
In the years of my studies, I learned a great many things about the Silver Flame, mostly through the men who returned from battle against Thrain. They have a very stringent code of honor, one that dictates a set of evils that they believe inherently require destruction. He said while we were fighting him,
Where was Odette from?
I would know this. Where is she from?
She's from Under.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you asking me? Because
I would know,
No,
but
I'm
I know.
asking.
because I know you know the answer.
I'm asking the guys.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm asking this.
Under.
It's the most common religion of Onder and Thrain, and half the 5 nations. Like, just because she was a worshiper of the Silver Flame doesn't mean it's related at all.
Well, I just find the fact that Odette died in Sharn, she was a worshiper of the Silver Flame.
If he was a worshiper of the Sovereign Host, the second, like, the most common religion, would we think anything of it?
If
Perhaps.
we were attacked by the Sovereign Host, yes. I mean, we returned to Sharn for the first time, and we get attacked.
I'm just
I
saying,
need a drink.
Either
I
it
agree.
was,
you need to sit down and heal.
yeah.
I
And if
can
you
drink
try to
and
get
heal
up-
at the
You can-
same time. You
you
can
can sit
bring
down at
drink
the
to
bar.
me.
I'll hand him whatever I have in my flask.
Alcohol.
I imagine you throw it to him.
Yeah, like here, catch.
Nice, screw, drink. Worst thing to do, of course.
I look at him and I say, normally alcohol will cause you to bleed more.
I'm a doctor.
Indeed. But you see my character kind of like looks at you very, not suspiciously, but more like.
I mean, he obviously notices, so he just kind of like, he's just like, he just smiles, knowing that it's just gonna confuse you and piss you off more, and just
No,
kind of more.
I lay back down. I lay back down.
So, for the record, time has passed, and Stalbor is very intelligent. I imagine conversation with Reich wasn't very thought-provoking. Not that Reich's dumb by any stretch of the imagination. He's actually a smart person and can have meaningful conversation. It's just Stalbor has a 20 intelligence, and so like his absent-minded thinking is like the highest level of thinking with heavy concentration and lots of snorted Adderall that most people can even hope to do. He literally does it in the back of his mind, right? So I imagine Stalbor himself is trying to figure out how or why it is that he's alive. Ollie?
Oh, I not that. I thought you were thinking like collecting the whole silver flame thing.
No,
like fairly goddamn sure in the back of his head right now.
No. I was gonna say. So, would you like to roll me an Arcana check, please, Ollie, with advantage?
Sure. But if he wouldn't tell anyone.
I'm not saying that you have to tell anybody. Just saying whether you figured out. I said with advantage, and you didn't use that.
Sorry, I
Ericked.
I was too busy complaining.
Ollie, you and I discussed prior how or why or whatever it is that you're still alive. During that conversation, while he's thinking about this whole silver flame bit, I imagine there's like a moment where everybody sees like a bit of like a realization, unless you choose to deception hide it, a bit of like a realization, like eureka on Stalbor. But then you probably just kind of like choke it away or whatever. So you
drink in one hand, spell book in the other, starts writing.
Yep. So I don't need to explain to you what happened. Whether or not you choose to explain to anybody else is entirely up to you. So you realize in game what had happened.
Cool. Suck on that, chat.
Moving on. So, yeah, you guys are having your discussion, your discourse.
How long am I in here?
In where?
The hospital, Luca.
Until you want to leave.
Until you're better.
Let me know when you want to go. We'll go.
Do not listen to her. Stay here until you are fully healed.
There's a hole in his body that they said was fatal. He's fine. He's talking. He can go whenever he wants to.
I'm not gonna leave immediately. As much as occasionally I can get wrapped up in Kieran's bloody passion.
I'm gonna say I'll be right back, and I want to walk out and try to find I forget her name, but the one that hugged me essentially. Yeah, there you go, Mika.
Kieran, when you left, who did you go see?
He doesn't reply right away.
I wait, looking at you. Staring.
Well, at least I know that you care about me, whether you would have said it when I was alive or not.
Of course I care about you.
Kieran, who did you go see?
Well, we went to the morgue. I finished investigating the body.
And then?
Ooh.
I found what I was looking for. Memorabilia of the Silver Flame.
Kieran, skip this. Did you go and speak to anyone?
Yeah.
Who?
I went to the upper districts and went to the church there.
Was it perhaps a Church of the Silver Flame?
No, it was the Sovereign Host. Yeah, of course it was a fucking Silver Flame.
I believe we owe someone a visit and an apology.
No, but fuck him.
That person tried to kill us.
No,
we don't owe them an apology.
Yeah, no, regardless of
that
Stalbor's
person
alive
did
or
not
not.
try to kill us, as you pointed
Oh,
out. The Silver
bullshit.
Flame is a large,
Someone paid him off.
encompassing religion.
That's
The
true.
very
No,
least
right.
we can do is
One
not
per-
make enemies.
A religion is a web of brains loosely connected together. Don't.
I didn't
One is as
hurt
good as
him.
another.
He's fine. I didn't hurt him, I just scared him a bit.
Good on you, Kieran.
Did you threaten his life?
A little bit.
Then you have caused trouble for us.
Good on
here.
you, Kieran.
Am I the only one that understands the implications of threatening someone in the Silver Flame?
Mind you,
You-
Luca's not in the room right now.
You, Stalbor, have never even faced the Silver Flame, and Kieran, I have a feeling that
Oh,
you
I
don't.
bet they're awfully familiar.
The Silver Flame have a penchant for holding grudges, and more.
They have
Fully familiar.
their god, I have mine. I'm not worried.
I do not care for their god. I
It's
fear
like
no
damage
god. I
to
do
the
feel
dragon.
mortal wounds. And it appears that we had already angered one person inside the Silver Flame. I do not intend on angering more.
Why should
And
I worry about their mortar followers when I can shoot lightning from my hands?
Kieran, can you contact the doctor and get them to organize a surgery to get the stick out of Reich's ass, please?
I'm glad to see you still live, Stalbor.
Oh, never better.
Gives me enough
Too
of a chance
ingrained anyway.
to beat you to death.
At this point, Stalbor would be writing a letter and would hand it off to anyone he can as quickly as possible. You know, if like a random attendant comes in, you just be like, hand them as much money as they need to send it.
Mm-hmm. And who's the letter for?
Letter is for Hallex, and I can literally tell you what it says. I don't care if it's like very hastily written. Well, it's not hastily written because it's Stalbor, but it says, don't trust anyone. People I care for are being eliminated. Make sure you are in a place of safety and with people you can trust. More or less.
Yep. And because you're not sending like a magical message, you're just sending a message. It'll be fine.
No, I will use that illusionary skip for that.
Okay, that's fine. You can cast a spell yourself, but I mean, you're not sending like.
I'm not paying extra.
Yeah. You're not having it
essentially-
magically telepathically sent. You're just putting it into a bird and making it go caw. And
Yeah, no, I'm not making it be a fast send.
you don't
But
worry.
I'll get
You're
like
gonna send a letter, and in less than 8 hours, dragon riders are gonna come in and save you from an ice storm. So it's a thing. Makes sense. So you send the letter. At this point in time, like they want Stalbor to stay there for a few days so they can continue to magically treat that wound in his chest so it can close. Does Stalbor agree to that, or is he like, fuck this noise, I gotta go?
Stalbor basically stays until Reich is fully healed.
Okay.
Which we have time.
Scott, I
Which
don't
is
know
long
if you
enough
heard.
for it to mostly heal, I guess. Probably.
Luca went out to go look for Mika.
Okay,
Yeah.
and she's right out there. She's
So
mhm.
I just want to approach her. Not fast or slow or anything like that. Just normal, and walk up to her and give her just a look, see if she says anything to me.
Yeah, she'll be like, Luca, I'm so sorry for the fright. I'm sorry that this happened. I'm so happy that he's alive. I mean, he's not a bad man. So many good people just... We all had to deal with a lot during the war. And I'm just glad we didn't have to bury another one today.
She'll nod to that and just say, and he'll say, but he was dead. You said he was dead. I
was
gave
wrong.
him a healing potion.
I was wrong. He wasn't, and he's not, you know.
So he's fine.
He's not the living that you would expect to come from Karnath. He's alive. We must have just misunderstood, or something must have brought him back. But he's alive. He is alive.
He'll interrupt and be like, "That's amazing. That's the best news. When will he be okay to leave?"
I suggest he stays for several days because, however it is that he's alive, that hole in his chest, he shouldn't be alive right now. But something about his physiology is just different in general. We've noticed this before with when he's come in wounded before. He's able to sustain these horrifying wounds, and they're grotesque, but they don't seem to harm him the way they would others. That must have something to do with his physiology. But we still need it to heal. I have an ointment filling the cavity now that will help to repair the tissues and unite the different parts of. It'll do its job.
Mm-hmm. He'll nod to that and say, and Reich, will he be okay to leave even sooner than that?
He can leave even in the morning, same as the rest of you, if you would like. The only one that's I actually have no problem with leaving now is Karen. She's perfectly fine. She's tip top shape. You and Reich, I would suggest staying until morning and Stalbor for a few days. But if he felt it necessary to leave, well, apparently he can survive almost anything.
She'll nod to that. He'll nod to that and just say, "Well, can I just have a couple of bandages, and I don't need any work. I just a few bandages is all I ask for."
You are welcome to many supplies. I do have the misfortune of telling you that this, of course, is not on the house. Much of it was covered before when you had received healing for saviors of the city. This does not fall under that jurisdiction, and I don't have the... I could offer a discount for you for what you've done in the past, but...
I understand. That's why I just want a few bandages, and
of course,
we'll be fine.
Of course, you are welcome to do so, but you must stay until morning either way.
I'll probably be fine. I mean, we'll see.
She won't argue with you any further than that. She just leaves it alone.
Okay, I'll walk back to the room then.
Okay.
At what point would I walk in? They're done with their conversation.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Stalbor is all right. I would walk in and just say, she suggests we stay a couple of days. Well, Stalbor stay a couple of days, and that Reich and I stay overnight. But I think that it might be best us go.
If you really want us to leave, I won't. I can walk. I can talk.
Where would we go? I mean, honestly, like Luca, we need a couple of days to secure those trade deals anyway.
Oh, I agree. It's not that I think that this place is unsafe. I just think that whatever.
They gave you the bill?
No, well, not even that. It's like whatever what reason do we have to stay?
It's safe here.
We can go many places. It's safe.
Where?
Your house, my house.
We own a ship.
A ship, yeah, a ship. Like,
I just want to point that out there. We're
There's-
living on a ship.
Okay.
there's quite a few places that we can go that are safe, and perhaps even safer than here without the bill.
Okay.
Well, he just starts packing up his things and like gets up. You quite clearly see him like just cast a spell on himself, and it's false life. I mean,
One of the ladies that are in the attendants in there, as he's casting the false life, she kind of looks at Luca as she was listening, and then she like chimes in, like she was eavesdropping. Obviously, 'cause she's in the room and he's speaking. She's like, "You know, the amount that you've paid for the services that have been rendered, it does cover you through to the morning. It doesn't cost any extra to see the evening. I mean, technically, there should be a charge for Kieran to spend the night if she wanted to, but I don't think anybody's going to mind if a fourth person stays in a room that holds 4 when 3 of the beds are already taken."
Luke will nod and he'll look at the group. Well, then I guess just leave in the morning.
I will gladly pay for whatever services they've rendered here.
Yes,
Oh, absolutely.
We'll leave in the morning and pay then.
Good.
Cool, because Luca, we need to talk.
Oh!
Ooh.
Oh!
Like Stalbot actually does that.
Why?
That's the thing.
Talk about what?
Because we're going to a very dangerous area to get Reich what he needs, and I need to take precautions that he's not going to be okay with.
Karen?
Yep.
You need to take precautions that Reich won't be okay with?
That you won't be okay with, and I'm turning to I turn to Luca when I say that.
Perhaps this is not the time.
I don't mind.
Perhaps this is not the time.
Oh, that's cool. We can just wait until we're gone. That's fine too.
Yeah,
I don't really care. I'm not the one who's gonna have a problem with it.
Kieran,
Yeah.
I am fairly certain I know what you're going to say to him.
I don't
Perhaps
think you know
this is
shit
not the time.
about my life.
You know,
What
you don't
would
know
I think
shit
that I've known
about
you.
my life.
I think I've known you for many months now. I think that in that time I have not grown to know your soul, but I have grown to know your pattern.
Right,
Well.
you sound like an elf.
Luca, I'm doing things that you're not going to be okay with, but we won't discuss them right now because Stalbor is a child that needs to be coddled, apparently.
No.
Sorry,
Stalbor?
Stalbor.
Because you have
Right?
no tact.
Such things are
Let us sleep
useless
for now.
and impractical.
Let us sleep for now.
Like I said, doesn't involve
have-
you. Lucas,
we
you're
have-
not going to be okay with it.
We have endured an almost tragedy today, and now we get to celebrate. Let us celebrate with sleep, and preferably silence.
Luke is like looking back and forth and then back and forth as this conversation goes on, and he's just doesn't. He's kind of torn. Like Reich is usually pretty sensible. That might make sense, but he's like, what the fuck does she want to talk about? He's like, he's just like back and forth. He's really weighing on what he should do.
Sensible? Reich had me drink poison.
Yeah, that was pretty
That
sensible.
made sense.
It's bullshit.
made
In
sense.
that moment, it made a lot of sense.
It made
God.
sense. It
You were
made
the only
sense.
person we hadn't been traveling with. In this moment, technically, if we want to be technical at this point, it probably makes more sense for all of us to drink poison because
Yeah, like,
apparently his
Yeah.
brother could be replaced for years, and but
Yeah,
you know
bullshit.
we don't have
Once-
enough poison.
Once a week we need to sit down, all take a shot of this poison, and just look at each other.
Is
It
it
was just
3
a
doses for
thousand
500
gold.
gold pieces?
Well, to be
No,
fair,
I know. Obviously we're
because
not.
of
I
the
have that
way-
poison, but I'm not looking at it.
It was a
Because
joke.
because of Stalbor's trait or feat, you technically could make that if Scott let me. But you know, it's a whole thing.
Well, we'll worry about that
Alright.
later.
We'll demand it one day.
Reich, I have to make these arrangements tomorrow, so it'll be tomorrow morning. Good night.
Tomorrow morning.
Me and
Tomorrow
you
morning
talk.
we will have this conversation.
Let me and you
Cool.
talk private first.
I don't
In case.
care about you, and this has nothing to do with you, so...
Stalbor
Shut up
makes
and go to
the
bed?
noise- Yeah, Stalbor makes a noise that is his closest approximation of what snoring sounds like. Being an elf, he doesn't really know. He's going off what he hears from
Let's
Luca.
step back. Let what happened happen.
Okay.
Luke is not gonna go to sleep right away. He wants to examine the dagger a bit more because he knows about weapons.
Sure, absolutely. Why don't you roll me that check, and you can roll me. I would say. Oh, actually, you're trained in Arcana
Yeah.
now, aren't you?
Yes, I'm trained in Arcana and I have advantage on weapon history.
Yeah. No, I know that, but I'm actually going to give you that advantage on Arcana and then History, because
Okay.
it applies to more or less knowledge of weapons. So it's any check that pertains to that. All right. Well, it looks like you're starting with a natty 20 on your Arcana check. That is some serious fucking hype.
Hype.
And then for the history check as well. So, reminder, natty 20s do not mean automatic success in my typical games, just like natty 1s are automatic failures. Do you care to spend an action point on either of those rolls or both of those rolls? You're reloaded to 7 because you just leveled to 5.
Right. I am not gonna spend an action point on either.
Okay, awesome. So with that natty 20, total 24 of your Arcana check, you're looking at this dagger. One of the things that you notice is that the blade itself is extremely sharp, making it so that it is very good at cutting into flesh and whatnot. There's no question about that. You've literally tasted the way that dagger cuts into people. Actually, it did stab you, right? Or did it not stab
No.
you at all?
It didn't stab me at all. I just got hit by an exploding silvery arrow thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought it stabbed you as well. Sorry, 1 second. Just looking at one detail. There's that one
just
right there,
Reich
and
and
then
Stalbor.
this one, which is okay. However, despite that fact, you notice that it is not magical. Like as sharp as it is, as extremely sharp as it is, and so on and so forth. Nothing about this dagger is unique. Nothing about this dagger stands out as uniquely sharp, something that's beyond it's just the edge of its blade being honed very well by whetstone or whatever it is. However, you do notice that the reason why it was able to rip into flesh and do the kind of damage it does is because the crisp blade, again the flame-like blade that it has, when you actually get really up close and you're looking at it, you could see that it has very, very tiny serrated edges there. Tiny serrated edges that are so small, either the most nimble of halflings carved this thing, or magic was used to create it. Because these are so small, you have to use something to magnify your vision, at least to some small degree, to see them while examining it close under bright light. And that is why it's so easily able to cut into somebody. But once again, looking at this and with your combination of history and arcana check, not just anybody can use this feature. Clearly, this requires some amount of training to know where to hit, to know how to hit, to know exactly what amount of pressure to put when hitting somebody with it, so that you can actually cause this horrible bleeding to happen that your friends experienced. Like, you can tell that it does damage, but it takes extra. Moving on. The history of this dagger, however, with your 17, this dagger is not unique in the sense that it's the only one. You've heard about these daggers before. I mean, a 17 is not something that's going to break boundaries and tell you the deepest secrets of the world. However, you did grow up in Karnath, and Karnath's number one biggest enemies were Thrain. Thrain is a theocracy with its religion, primary religion being Silver Flame. And so you've heard stories of the paladins and soldiers of Thrain fighting on the battlefield, but you've also heard stories of the assassins that battle off of it. And so stories of these blades and the devastating effect that they have when cutting a soldier and how long afterwards it takes effect. Oh yeah, it like rings in your mind. You remember these. This is clearly part of some small sect of the Church of the Silver Flame. Details beyond, though, you don't know. The last thing I could say that you do know is it's believed that they exist in Ondair. Like the sect is from Ondair itself, not even Thrain.
Okay.
Because obviously assassination and stuff like that would be considered illegal by Thrain standards, so they have to act outside of it. But you don't know anything more than that.
Yeah, he'll keep that all to himself.
Sure.
And he'll put the dagger away quite carefully.
Sure. Yeah. It's one of those things where, again, you have to know what you're doing to really hurt yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
Just because how sharp it is, and he's just like, I don't want anyone to do this on accident. So he'll wrap it in like a cloth and put it in his pack, type of thing. Not ready to yield it or anything, but put it in his pack. And that will be all he really plans on doing tonight: studying that dagger and trying to rest.
Did you guys take the sword as well? The sword?
Yeah, we took the sword, the dagger, the arrows, and the mask.
Cool.
I think that was everything.
Awesome.
Aaron, you're muted.
Was the sword silver flamey at all? Was it silvery?
It was just absolutely beautiful, extremely ornate. It was clearly very well crafted.
Probably then, yeah.
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 Okay, cool.